All right, so I have a bunch of titles that I put in the iPhone in the notes, and I'm gonna take a look at some of them. Here I have one. Okay, yeah. True evolution is the recognition of the unified field. Okay, so true evolution is the recognition of the unified field. Now, this is basically a summary of the spiritual process. I mean, evolution, the way science said it about, bodies and things and stuff, it's just jokes, right? It's just jokes. Science is a religion, and it's an outdated religion. The real religion, if there would be any religion, would be a religion of consciousness, which is really the science of consciousness, if you wish. But science, at its current moment, is the biggest religion on earth. It's the dominating one, and most people believe in it because that's always how it is. It's the zeitgeist. It's the current predominating religion of this time, right? The time zeitgeist, right? The time being, right? So for the time being, science is the religion, and they have this devolved and retarded view of evolution, only of objects and things, bodies evolving and stuff, and earths evolving. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the real evolution, right? So the real evolution that we're going to be talking about today, like I said in these notes, is the recognition of the unified field. In other words, true evolution is when you, whatever you are, recognizes the unified field, right? True evolution is not getting, better iPhones and getting better cars and better houses. It's part of it. It could all be part of it, but it only works if we are living in, from, and as the unified field. And the unified field obviously is this being knowing, the I am, right? So presence, or I am, or being knowing, is the unified field. And then from that unified field, beautiful expressions can come into existence. And so real evolution, which will include the harmony that we can do to the earth, the harmony of living in harmony with nature, with each other, with the way that we harvest and exploit this planet instead of, well, not exploit, but just live in harmony and use it as a balanced way of a perfect, sustainable model, comes from the unified field. And that true evolution is the reduction from being identified with the body-mind and coming back home to recognition of our true nature. Only when I know that I, as being knowing, am president, am first, am the primary, am the source, out of which all objects come, only when I am at home in eternity, only when I'm home in the now, the eternal now of being, and recognize that my true nature is being and knowing, the infinitude, the immortal, right? The eternal, the untouchable, the unscratchable, the unkillable, the unstainable, that which doesn't come or go, that which can't be removed because it always is. Eternity is being and knowing. Once you're resituated, repositioned, and recognized, you've come to a real evolutionary point, which is not in time, which is the return to the eternal. And then from this eternal recognition, we can start creating a world again, and all the objects will flow naturally without having to do anything from an ego perspective, from an I, the body-mind, as some individual separate self. Once the separate self, the illusion of the separate self, the disillusion, the fakeness, the falseness, the false separate self illusion is removed, we have truly evolved. So true evolution is the recognition of the false, and therefore the true remains. Because once the false is seen for not existing, for not being real, for not being absolute, time and the body and the mind and all objects, and I return by evolving back into what I am, then we have a real evolution. And then all other things will flow from there. True evolution is therefore the recognition of your true nature. True recognition of your true nature, of knowing that I am eternity. I am primarily knowing, and then even primary to that, before that, being. Being and knowing is what I am. that is untouched by all of the objects. That is the very source of the universe. All of it is this. Everything is this. This is eternity. This is not. Roald is being that. Of course, in a way we could say that, but this body is insignificant. The body is an object perceived. My hands are perceived. My voice is heard. By what? By this knowing element. And that knowing element exists without bodies, including this one. The universe in itself is this very knowing being. So when I say I am knowing being, I'm not referring to Roald is knowing being and you're not. Everything is. There's only these two principles. Being, knowing, and then whatever flows from it. But you can remove everything that flows from it as objects. And knowing being would still be, because that's all there is. That is eternity. And the true evolution is therefore the recognition of our true nature, which is knowing and being. And from that, we will get a harmony across the planet and the earths and the universes and whatever's going on everywhere at an existential level in a kind of holographic simulation type of matrix thing, whatever it might be, consciousness, Brahman, whatever you want to call this entire formal world of ever-changing objects. Then things will flow that are beautiful, that are natural, that are just flow without decision making, without forcefully pushing through, without grabbing more than you need, because there's no more disharmony, because you're no longer misidentified or disidentified with that which is changing and mortal and dying and ever changing. Once everybody's back there, so the only real evolution that we've got that we need to attend to is the evolution by recognition of our true nature. And once you know you are the eternal, from your own experience, not as a concept, not as a belief, not because I say it, but because you recognize it's true. I am is undeniable. And I am now, always now. And I know there's a knowing element. Everything that is known is because there's a knowing element. And only once those two are there, things are known, then I'm aware of something. But I am and I know is primary. And this is the true evolution, to return to that position or placeless place, that which is unconditioned because it's eternal.